to talk about that, Peter McGuire. Johnson, he needs an introduction. Peter, great having you. Thanks for joining in. All the way from Sydney, I presume, Peter, again today.
Yes.
What's your sense, Pete, of the Fed decision and, more importantly, the commentary?
Well, I think first off, Niraj, I was taken a little bit back that, 25 basis points, it was a home run, I think, and everyone had basically baked it in. I would have been very surprised to see 50, and the impact of the market has been, I think, boom from the drop dead. As soon as he announced, then equities were bid up strongly. The US dollar's come under pressure to the downside. Gold's up considerably, and there's been a lot of movement on across the whole complex, really, in the last 6 or 7 hours.
Yeah. So, Peter, what do you reckon is the way ahead? Because the standard template that I seem to gain or glean from almost everybody is that we probably have one more hike, and then do we have maybe a prolonged pause, if you will, or maybe some more hikes, but not in the same fashion? Are you penciling in some directionally a slightly different move towards the end of the year, or would you believe that let's follow the Fed and not second guess what the Fed will do?
Yeah, I mean, it's nearly a flick of the coin, Niraj. I think you've got to just follow the Fed in a lot of ways. We're at a delicate timing. We understand the hikes, and we also appreciate full employment in the US, certainly the same in Australia and New Zealand. So I look at it through that lens, and we've got the non-farm payrolls coming out tomorrow night or Friday. Then, the impact is going to be, I won't be surprised to see another rate hike, and then possibly sitting on their hands for a while and seeing the impact as far as how that manifests itself in another quarter, I would say quarter two, and that May, June, July sort of period, to get a clear understanding how we stack ourselves for the end of the year, that last 2 quarters of the calendar year, Niraj.
And therefore, Peter, what does it mean for risk assets, and particularly first the US markets? Because if 2022 was a year of turmoil, starting 2023, there has been a bit of a turnaround. Does this have more legs to go, considering the market will think 6 months out as to what the Fed could likely do?
Well, that's right. I mean, that's what your PEs do, and that's what CFOs are all about. They want to see what your forecasted earnings are going to be and how the market is buying your product or services, and how you make revenue. So when I think of through those frameworks, I've got to be conscious how that all materializes. It's been a dynamic month of January. I mean, you've only got to see where the Nasdaq is, and S&P and Dow, but the Nasdaq especially. So it was strongly bid up. You can't stand into the way of a bull market at the moment. It's been a very strong move, and everyone's got an opinion where it sits at the end of the year, but at the moment it seems to be onward and upward, and it inhaled that 25 basis points as if nothing, and now it's game on. So let's just take it as it plays, and we've just got to see where we are by this time next month.
Yeah, Peter, one last question. The view on, I'm not saying you necessarily have a direct view on India, but what you're gleaning either from conversations with your clients or channel partners, as the case may be, or your own thoughts, very quickly.
Well, I think you've had a very nice rally over the last couple of years, and I really think that will probably be maintained. Certainly, I'm looking for the first 2 quarters of this year to be reasonably bullish. I'm not looking for surprises, and you've got a big growth engine there and huge demand. So I think internally it should fire up quite nicely.
Great. Peter McGuire, always a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for taking the time out and giving us your thoughts today.
Thank you, Niraj.